Okay, so since that Nintendo Direct happened, I've been thinking about one game in particular and what it could mean for the future of this game's franchise. And that, of course, is The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And the one thing I keep coming back to with it is not only you're playing as Zelda for the first time ever in an actual Nintendo game. I'm not talking about that stupid ass Wand of Gamelon or the whatever CDI game you play as Zelda. And pretty sure it's Wand of Gamelon. Whatever. I'm not talking about that. That doesn't count. This is the first time Nintendo has said, "Hey, here's a Zelda game. Here you can play as Zelda, and this is what you do in it." But for me, I'm very skeptical on what this game is going to do for the franchise itself and for Zelda herself as a main protagonist instead of being like the damsel in distress character that she usually is. So if you guys like this video, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share the video too. That would really help out a lot. Let's get into this video and just talk about what I think about this game and the implications it could have on the future of Zelda games in general, like 2D, as well as possibly Zelda being in her own hero type role. So yeah, we'll get into that. So the first thing I want to talk about with this game is the graphic style. I don't really mind the graphic style. I know a lot of people hate the way Link's Awakening looked on the Switch. I, for one, didn't really care. I get why people don't like it. How it has that wooden toy type aspect. They kind of almost look like Legos, but not really. But people don't like that aspect, especially like the biggest person I can think of on YouTube that doesn't like that aspect is Arlo, which is fine. Like I love Arlo and his content, but like that is one thing he did not like about Link's Awakening. He liked the game in general, he just didn't like that aesthetic of it, which is fine. But I I for one don't care. I prefer 2D Zelda games anyway. So if if they look like toys, whatever, as long as it's a game I can really like gravitate towards and sink my teeth into, I'm good with it. So I don't mind the graphic style as much as other people might. Second thing I want to talk about is just what kind of story and where in the universe this could potentially take place in. I know story and universe with Zelda doesn't really matter to a lot of people, but I kind of like the lore of Zelda and the timelines and all the divergence to the timeline and all that stuff. I know people don't give a crap about that stuff, but I like that kind of stuff. Like Hyrule Historia was really cool when it was first out because it gave you like a idea of where Nintendo was at with the timeline of Zelda. And I thought it was a really cool read just to read through different parts of the Zelda timeline and where Nintendo places stuff. And that brings me to where I think this takes place in. And kind of the third thing is where where it takes place like in Hyrule. Like what kind of Hyrule is it? I think this game, just because it looks like Link's Awakening, it doesn't mean that's the universe it takes place in. Honestly, if I remember correctly, Link's Awakening Link is the Link from A Link to the Past. I'm pretty sure that's like the correct lore of Link's Awakening Link is A Link to the Past. Because if you look at the trailer, Link is fighting Pig Ganon. And he is from the original, I don't want to say 3, but because he's not in 2, but you see him if you die. The original 3, he has that Pig Ganon aesthetic. You don't get Ganondorf until Ocarina of Time, which I forget where everything lies within the timeline. But for me, this seems like it takes place in the 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 Hyrule of Link to the Past, and people are kind of like, oh great, they're reusing Link Between Worlds or Link to the Past Overworld again, which I get it. They want something different, but to me, that's the universe I know best. Is that? That's why Link Between Worlds, for me, I was like, damn, this game is really cool because it was literally Link to the Past, just like it looked newer, it looked fresher, and I loved the way that looked. It looked really cool, and the things they did with that game were really neat. I liked that game a lot. I probably should revisit it at some point. That's one thing that bothers me about myself, me as a gamer. Like, once I beat a game, like a Zelda game or a Mario game, I don't really ever start it back over and replay through it ever again. I need to stop doing that and do that more often because I feel like when you play through a game once, you don't get the same appreciation for it as you would like multiple different playthroughs. You're like, oh wow, this did really work. Oh wow, this is really good. But that's not how I roll most of the time, to be honest. Like I just play a game and when I'm done with it, I just put it on my shelf and call it a day. And not to go off on a tangent here, but I feel like that's what this game is gonna be for me too. It's gonna be like once I beat it, it's gonna be like, okay, that was a fun little Zelda adventure, but what's next? Like what are they gonna do next? That's where I'm at with it. And to lead into that, like the thing that scares me the most about this game, and I mentioned it in the direct video I did, is just the gameplay of the game. How Zelda has this weird wand that can have echoes or absorbs things and makes copies of beds, tables, enemies, things around the world. You can make copies of whatever. That's what it seems like. And it almost seems like they're trying to put pieces of Tears of the Kingdom into this game, which I, I like that they're trying to like merge the good parts of like 3D Zelda and put some of that in 2D Zelda, but 2D Zelda isn't, to me, it's its own thing. To me, 2D Zelda is you plop it in the world, you get your sword, you explore around, you find dungeons, you get into a dungeon, you see if you can do it or not with what you have available to you at the moment. If you can't, leave the dungeon, explore. That's what I feel like a 2D Zelda should be in my eyes. Now that's my old man brain talking, although I'm 34, but you gotta remember, I grew up around the original Zelda from like what is 87? Something like that. From like the NES days. That's what I grew up around is NES Zelda, Super NES Zelda. Actually, to be real with you, I have more fond memories of playing Link to the Past than any other Zelda in the franchise. Because I've played that one the most. So that's why I gravitate more towards 2D Zeldas. But that's what scares me about this is the way they're going about it. The way that Zelda herself carries herself in this game. Yes, she has this talking wand or whatever. I think it like talks or something. And it can do what it basically transform whatever you want into something else or whatever. Whatever I said before. Why is it that? Why can't it be where Zelda just uses magic? She's known for her magic ability or whatever. She's known for being a magical, mystical person. For for shit's sake, she's a sage in Ocarina of Time. I know that's a different point in the timeline, but I'm just saying, like, the point is, she is a mystical, magical, sage like person. So that I feel like that's what they should have done with this. Is given her more abilities to like instead of like making a bed be a bridge, just have her use ice powers or something, make like an ice bridge or like a light bridge or something that where she can utilize her actual magic powers, which she already kind of is with this wand thing. But I feel like they're just doing it to give you or new players some sort of direction. Because I feel like this thing's gonna tell you, like, hey, you can't do this, kind of like a Navi type thing. It's gonna tell you like, hey, you can't transform that or take this and use it as an echo, or you can't go here yet. You have to do this, something like that. I feel like that's why they did it this way, because honestly, Zelda is, like I said, a sage-like character. So why would she need guidance? Like she would know her land. It's Hyrule. Hyrule is what she rules. She would know like what the hell she can do and what she can't do. And I get it. Like as the player, you need something to kind of guide you. But I feel like they could have done it in a better way than giving her this weird wand. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like it worries me because just the fact that you have to use the wand to attack enemies by making rocks or making different enemies is weird to me. I don't know if I'll like that because if I don't like this game, like if I buy it and I don't like it, it's just gonna sit on my shelf. I'm gonna be honest. Like I won't play it, and I feel like that's the way it's gonna be. I really hope as the game gets closer, like in July or August ish, they put a demo for this game out because I really think this game would benefit from a demo, especially from my perspective and people that are used to like 2D Zelda stuff. And this is the first game where you play as Zelda, which I like that. I think, and this is where I'm going to close this out. I think this could be a good precedent, or, or excuse me, the Legend of Zelda series. Because if this game does well, with Zelda being her own protagonist, and maybe Ganon is the antagonist. I have no idea. Might be some different form of Ganon or some other monster. We don't know. I'm assuming it's Ganon in some way, shape, or form. But whatever it ends up being, if this game sells millions of copies, Nintendo's going to be like, oh, people liked when we used Zelda, the character, in this way, but people didn't really like this take on Zelda. Because for those who don't know, there was going to be like a Sheik based game that was in like talks and I forget what development studio it was, but they wanted to do like a Sheik style game, but it never got off the ground. But it sounded like a neat idea. I think Did You Know Gaming did a video talking about like canceled Zelda ideas or whatever. You could probably go find it and check it out. But it reminds me of that when I first saw this, I was like, oh, it's like this, but they're actually doing it. They're actually giving Zelda her time in the spotlight because now it actually is a legend for Zelda instead of Zelda. It's a legend for Zelda because this is her own thing. Yes, I know it's a trope that she is saving Link from what it looks to be, but they have to be kind of safe with this, to be honest, because they can't just be like, okay, Zelda's fighting this new person, uh, Dark Zelda. I don't know. I'm just pulling stuff out of thin air here, but I'm not a writer. Okay, I'm just trying to think of something that they would do, um, or like Four Swords when it was like Vadi or Vadi, whatever you pronounce it. That new villain. Like something like they're not gonna do something like that with Zelda in her first game. Because the thing with that is Link is already established as the main protagonist of The Legend of Zelda. Zelda has never had a real, true spin off title on a Nintendo console. This is the very first time that's happened. Yes, you could play in Zelda. You could play as Zelda in games like Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, and Hyrule Warriors. That's true. But this is the first kind of mainline Zelda game that you can play as Zelda. That's where people are kind of afraid, and where I'm kind of afraid for Zelda herself as the character. I don't give a crap that, oh, you're playing as a woman. I've seen articles like, you're playing as a woman in The Legend of Zelda? Well, yeah, who cares? Like, whatever. That, like, I don't care about that. That's fine. Like, if people want to go at it from that angle and get views that way, then whatever, you do you. That's not what the focus of the game should be. Oh, you're playing as a woman. No, the focus should be, this is Zelda's first game. Let's all give this game a chance. So if it's good, but the concept is kind of not what people want, Nintendo can look at this and be like, okay, let's do another Zelda centric game, but do it differently. Do it like a traditional Zelda game, but give Zelda powers, or hell, give her a sword. There's no law that says she can't use a sword. Like, I don't know why. I feel like that wouldn't be her thing, but I'm saying you could do it. Like, in any case, if they couldn't find a way to make magic work, they could make her have like a magical sword, or like a magical wand, or a bow or something. Something like that. Something like in Hyrule Warriors. That's what she uses like her magic, and like a magical bow she uses. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, just because I normally don't do videos like this, but I want to try to do more videos like this, and just more talking point videos to get my thoughts out there about certain stuff like this and like other games. So if you guys like this video, please leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, all the good stuff. Shout out to my Patreon supporters for supporting my channel. Special shout outs go to Matt Y99, Reaper 7734, Title Cal, AJ Guntle, Oliver Frederick, Zoe Ashby, It's Me, Charlize, Joe, William Swift, Jeff 17, Charlie McKeon, Reverse Security, Zuhal, Preliab, Just Drew, Ari Monsane, HHG Fan, George McConnell, Elliot Scott, Benjamin Tillman, Macalosora, Vic Gomez, Freddie Ladd, Lee Fernay, and TJ Johnson. Thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. It really does help out a lot, and it will help me get this game eventually when it does release in September. So thank you guys for supporting. It really does help out the channel a lot. If you want to support me, it's only $1 a month. It does help out a lot. Anyway, guys, that'll do it for my video today. Sorry I wasn't on camera today. I just didn't feel like being on camera today. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video nonetheless. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Peace.